Whoo-wee! Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the Paranormal Portal. This here's a production. Now that means it needs to be produced, so I'm producing it as we speak. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. Saturday night here on the Paranormal Portal. We got 2 full hours ahead of us, and by God, we're going to hopefully make it entertaining as all hell, if I can. I got the yes/no over there on the table, but I think it might be running out of gas because it's been on the red light now for a while, but it's not making noise. Special thanks to Lucky Gypsy for that donation. Appreciate it a bunch. That is amazing. Thank you so much. That goes so far to help me keep the electricity here paid on the Paranormal Portal farm, because that's what needs doing. I think I might plug that in and give it another charge quick. It charges like super fast, so let me try that. I was going to have it up and running, but it just kind of hit that red and went, that's it, it's stuck. So, with that in mind, let's go to this camera, and I'm going to move it. I'm going to move it. I'm going to reach over here. Oh, God. Oh, getting old. Yeah, it's just kind of stuck. It's not even triggering. That means the battery is about juiced. So, that happened. It took quite a while, though. We've used that for a lot of time. Last time I charged that was St. Ignatius. So, that thing held the charge for quite a while. And it still lasted for a long time, even just sitting idle. So, all right, I'm going to plug it in for a little bit because I do kind of like having it run. It does trigger every once in a while, which I find really interesting. So, hold on while I undo the cables and stuff. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the Paranormal Portal, I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is our 2-hour commercial-free extravaganza and into all things paranormal. And just got to, by the sense of touch here, plug this in. There we go. I got a really good sense of touch, just letting you know, as freaky as that might sound. Let me turn this off, and I'll plug it in, and we'll see if we can get it charged up. And there we go. It's charging. So we'll get a charge on that and see if we can set it up and see if something triggers it. We do have the ghost radar going. The X Paranormal detector is running. As always, kind of a passive thing that we do during the show here. When I say we, I just mean me, but it sounds more impressive to say we, I guess. It's something passive that I do. Just because I've had a lot of weird stuff happen in the studio. Of course, I've done actual investigations here live, streaming, and we've had some pretty cool things happen. So there does seem to be some presences here, but I know that before I even started doing a show. Had weird things happen in this house pretty soon after living here, and still continues to this day, although it's much more calm now. I think probably the biggest turning point in that was just understanding what had happened here, because I wasn't told before I moved in. And once I knew, I could look at it with a sense of compassion and understanding, and even trying to make the situation better for a spirit that I think might be stuck here. So hopefully your new filling is holding, Brent. Yeah, it's doing good. The new filling's doing good. Seems to be sticking, and I have no gaps in the front of my tooth anymore. Jeez, tell you what, that was a nightmare. If you've not experienced that, and I guess I've never experienced it before that either, but when that filling dropped out and that nerve was exposed, and I just grabbed some cold water to rinse out my mouth after brushing my teeth, and that went right in that hole, and it was like I had a palm full of magma and just dumped it in my mouth. That's what it felt like on that nerve. It was like, "Ugh." I literally had tears coming out of my eyes. It was like, oh my God. So bad thing, but yeah, it's all fixed and seems to be holding good. Thank you, Rachel, for asking or mentioning that. I seem to be all fixed. So hello to all of you guys that are coming in the door. We got a lot to get through tonight. As always, there's a boatload of stuff. We're going to do the news here shortly, and then we're going to get to the Discord question of the week. Special thanks to Chucky. Chucky has been keeping it rolling for us and doing a hell of a job over there. So we're going to get into that. And I don't know if I ever pointed it out officially, but Maggie and Chucky are our newest mods here in the YouTube channel as well. They've just been so incredibly instrumental in the show and ever present and helping out in every way they can. So please make sure to congratulate both of them. They are just marvelous and have been forever. And there's so many of you. I mean, literally, I could have mostly blue names in here, but I mean, in all things considered, you only need so many mods. So I hope nobody's put off by that. It's not a popularity contest. It was just, I select mods based on who's here most always. And, certainly Maggie and Chucky are right on the top of that list, and so many others of you as well. And I keep a mental note of those of you that are, really present and a part of the shows, because, if we need more mods as the show grows, you guys are top on my list. So, I haven't said who you are, but I know who you are. So anyway, very cool. And, let's see, anything else I'm trying to think of or haven't thought of, or any laundry that I'm missing? You missed yesterday. Rachel, you weren't here, were you? Never mind. I'm going to start pulling blues. No, I'm going to pull wrenches. That's it. No, it's, real life happens. I can't expect anybody to be here all the time. Hell, I'm not even here all the time. So it's my show. And that's when I cancel. It's like, sorry, no show tonight. So it happens. It does happen. Nah, I'd never take your wrench, Rachel, because then I'd get it wrong. All right. So let's get to the news and find out what I've got in store for you there. So I hope you guys are ready to get informed. Hopefully, I'll inform you of something that you didn't already know. So without further delay, it's time for the news. So if you're ever in your home and you realize there's a zombie invasion, there's one perfect room for you to go that zombies can't get to. The living room. The living room. You can hide out in the living room. Actually, the minion told me that joke today, so I was like, "Oh, that'll be good for the news." So just remember, if you ever you're dealing with a zombie invasion and you're in your home, just head to the living room. They can't enter. It's not the living dead room. So, yeah, it's punny. Yeah, this is an 8-year-old mind. So, I mean, it was perfect. It's like perfect for our news humor, as it were, because they've been some pretty dry logs we throw out there for chuckles. And I think it's funny. So welcome to the news desk. As always, we hope to illuminate and shed light on some of the weirdness that's in our world in the course of the entire show, but certainly the news as well. And the first... Oh, yeah, this one. I remember this one. The first article, I have to reacquaint myself with my own laundry list here. The first news story tonight is coming from a wonderful site. And again, I can't stress it enough. Please support what they're doing. Unexplained-mysteries.com is the site. Marvelous job they do, and it's incredible. There's so much on there that we never touch throughout the courses of the shows. But I mean, this is a very robust site. There's full of, several kinds of stories. There's news kind of stories. There's like a blog. There's opinion pieces. There's everything over there. And it's just really well handled and very well run. So unexplained-mysteries.com. Check it out. Support them. And they have some, things that you can purchase as well to help them keep the lights on over there. So, all right, the first news story tonight is coming from unexplained-mysteries.com, and this is Air Force officer recounts mass sighting of red glowing UFO. Oof. What do you mean mass sighting of red glowing UFO? Is it singular? What's a mass sighting of a singular UFO? I don't know what that means. Many people saw it? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's just the headline, how it was written. Ex-U.S. Air Force senior patrolman Nick Nuccitelli. I think that's 2 C's makes a CH, I think. I'm sorry if I'm absolutely brutalizing that, but I think it's Nuccitelli. Recently recounted the experience in a podcast interview. The incident, which took place over Vandenberg Air Force Base in California back in 2003, was first detailed earlier this year during a congressional hearing. The object was described as an enormous red glowing sphere the size of a football field. Yeah, that's not your normal airborne object at the size of a football field. Speaking to the Merged podcast this week, Nuccitelli recounted his own memories of that day. "I'm getting ready to jump in the car, and then all hell breaks loose," he recalled. "And they start screaming over the radio. It's coming right at us. It's coming right for us. Now it's right here. It was hard to hear because they were screaming and they were scared." The object was witnessed by at least 6 U.S. Air Force police patrol officers. "These guys are trained observers," said Nuccitelli, "and they're posted out there, 24/7. They know what aircraft look like, and they know what fishing boats look like. I don't feel like they were just jumping the gun because there had been a UFO." After arriving at the site, Nuccitelli conducted interviews of those who had seen the object. "I talked to everybody," he says. "Basically, what they described was this object came in, was moving strangely erratically. It got bigger and brighter as it came in. Then it came at a high rate of speed and flew right up to the entry control point and stopped. And they all stared at it. And then it just shot off." Yeah, that's got to be intimidating as hell. It's like a bluff charge, except a UFO. It's like, "Oh God, it's coming. Nope, never mind. It's gone." Much like an elephant bluff charge or a gorilla bluff charge or a Bigfoot bluff charge. Yeah, but how do you know? How do you know which is the real charge and which is a bluff charge? But yeah, that's creepy. Again, crazy story, but apparently true. So that's coming from a U.S. Air Force patrolman. So they must know what the hell they're talking about. These are the guys that guard the very planes that fly out of there and stuff. So I would assume they're very well trained observers, especially for aircraft. But anyway, next up comes another story from unexplained-mysteries.com. Once again, this site just keeps on giving. And it's rolling aces all day long. All right, this one's coming out of Florida, and this is, of course, dealing with an invasive species. Because, somebody went, "Oh, I love you. You're too big to care for. Go be free." And then the sadness. Because these invasive species take over, there's nothing that hunts them, nothing that subsists on them. And so they are largely decimating local populations of the indigenous fauna. And what am I talking about? Well, from unexplained-mysteries.com, python hunters catch gargantuan 17-foot snake in the Florida Everglades. And it takes, there's 5 guys holding this thing up. Literally, folks, that could be a man-eater. That could very easily eat a man. That's a lot of snake. And, it probably, to the casual observer, you think, well, yeah, but you just grab it by the head and stuff. But I had a boa constrictor. My cousin Paul had a python, and you wouldn't believe, even as a small snake, the force that they can exert with their bodies, even when they're a small snake. When my snake was 3 feet long, and it got up to about 5.5, 6 feet. His, I think, got up to about 7 feet. But when they coil around your arm and squeeze, it's like, it's even at 3 feet, it was like a blood pressure cuff was puffed up on my arm. It's like, man, that's strong. And even if you grab them and kind of squeeze, they use their muscles, and you can apply the same pressure where it would hold everything else, but they can use their muscles and actually squirm through being squished. I never heard it. Obviously, I was never trying to do that, but I was just seeing how are they able to do stuff. And it's crazy, the amount of force. Now, if you took a 17-foot snake and the amount of force that would shatter your bones as it constricted you. Your rib cage would become putty. It would just shatter the rib cage and any other rigid bone structures and make you nice and swallowable. So, because you look at somebody's shoulders, like this guy in the picture, and of course it looks like he's got 2.5 foot wide shoulders, somewhere in that range. I don't know, maybe that's really aggressive, maybe it's more like 2 feet, but still looks bigger than that small snake head. But after that snake gets done crushing him, all those bones just become malleable. There's no rigid structure. So that's absolutely scary. But what it says Mike Elfenbein and colleagues discovered the massive reptile at Big Cypress National Preserve last week. For most people, coming face to face with a 17-foot snake would be enough to send them running. But for python hunters, tracking down and catching such enormous reptiles is all in a day's work. The Burmese python was first introduced in the Florida Everglades in the 80s and has since gained a significant foothold, resulting in a major decline in raccoons, possums, and bobcats, as well as near total disappearance of some rabbit and fox species. Wildlife officials have spent years attempting to remove the reptiles from the region, a feat easier said than done due to their enormous size and seemingly endless numbers. The most recent specimen was initially mistaken for an alligator, was found and caught by 5 hunters, including Mike Elfenbein, and his son, Cole, at Big Cypress National Preserve. The father and son duo had arrived at the scene to see another team of hunters attempting to wrestle the snake. That was when I realized it was either we do something now or this wasn't going to end good, said Elfenbein. So I grabbed her by the head, and my son had her by the tail, and we stretched her out across the road, and Carter, Holden, and Trey jumped on the top of her to hold her down. She literally lifted us up on the ground. I think he means off the ground. But anyway, due to the snake's enormous size and weight, it took all 5 of them 45 minutes to subdue the beast. Measuring 17 feet in length and weighing 198 pounds, the snake is thought to be the second heaviest python ever caught in the state of Florida. Of her 198 pounds, 29 pounds of it was pure fat. She was just massive, and she was huge, said Elfenbein. That also means that snake was well-fed. That was a very well-fed snake. So, yeah, that's scary. That's That's the kind that'll, missing dogs, missing cats, missing children even. I mean, not that there's kids just wandering aimlessly out in the Everglades, but that they don't necessarily stay there. They just keep going. They just keep moving, expanding outward. And, they don't care if they're in a residential area or if they're in the deep, dark wilds. So, yeah, that's absolutely a sobering thought, folks. That is not a good thing to have big snakes like that in an area where nothing eats big snakes. And I don't know. I think that these snakes have an indeterminate growth, meaning that as long as they got food, and I'm sure there's plenty, and since nothing preys on them, they can grow indeterminately. They could grow, up to the 20 feet beyond range, and God, that's enormous. So very, very, very wild stuff. Yeah, I don't know how they know it was the 80s when they were first introduced to the Everglades. And how do they know that? Was there a controlled experiment that went wrong, or that's a weird thing to throw out there? That were first introduced in the 80s. It's like, why? Who the hell did that? So anyway, I've always assumed it was just, the go be free. You're too big. I can't keep you anymore. You're too big for my apartment. You can survive here. Like, yeah, well, there's obviously a breeding population out there. Or they brought, a pregnant female into there somewhere. But anyway, terrible story. And that, it's sad. But they caught one. There's probably only 50,000 or more out there. But anyway, it's progress. All right, let's get to the next one. And this is the last one on the news tonight. This one's kind of exciting, but I did actually read the article because I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool. But it's encouraging, but it's not as fantastic as it might have first sounded. But it's maybe a step in the right direction. So this story has to do with science and technology. And it's not too long, even though usually the science and technology stories are extraordinarily long. This one's pretty short. Again, from unexplained-mysteries.com, surgeons successfully conduct the world's first whole eye transplant. So they actually transplanted an entire eye into this person's head. It says military veteran Aaron James had lost his eye and half his face in a high-voltage electrical accident. The idea of transplanting an entire eye has been on the cards for years, but until now, the only part of an eye that surgeons have ever successfully transplanted into a patient is the cornea. When 46-year-old Aaron James lost his eye in a horrific work-related accident, however, he provided surgeons at the New York University's Langone Health, I don't know, whatever, however you say that, Langone Health, the unique opportunity to carry out the procedure. In total, the complex surgery took 21 hours to complete. While surgeons were able to successfully implant the eye, only time will tell whether or not James will actually be able to see through it. As things stand, it's been 6 months since the surgery, and he has yet to regain his sight, but surgeons remain optimistic that there is still a possibility that this will happen. The mere fact that we transplanted an eye is a huge step forward, something that for centuries has been thought about, but it's never been performed, said team leader Dr. Eduardo Rodriguez. If some form of vision restoration occurred, it would be wonderful, but the goal was for us to perform the technical operation. I don't think anyone can claim that he will see, but by the same token, they can't claim that he will not see. For James himself, the surgery was well worth it. I told them, even if I can't see, maybe at least you all can learn something to help the next person. That's how you get started, he said. Hopefully this opens up a new path. Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. Step in the right direction. Being able to put a donor eye into a living person's head, I think, is a really powerful thing. It'd be really cool if he was able to see, though. I hope that just suddenly, hey, I got some weird fuzzy stuff going on, and maybe it'll happen. But at any case, it's a step in the right direction, as he said. And what a cool guy. He's like, I don't care, but just transplant it. It's going to look better anyway than a glass eye or something like that. And maybe it'll work. And at the very least, it still is going to look better, than the scars of the accident, I'm sure. So very cool story, very encouraging, but it's not a complete story yet, but it's a step in the right direction. I love progress like this. I really do. It's exciting that, when our doctors and scientists figure things out, it is exciting. What's scary is sometimes what they do with what they figure out. That's the scary version. But in this case, I think it seems pretty altruistic, so I can celebrate it. But that has been the news. I don't know what you guys think. Did you learn something? Do you feel that was a wonderful use of your time? Did you learn? Did you take anything away? Well, I hope so. But anyways, let's get back to the rest of the show. Here we go. Buckle up. The news you can trust, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you trust it. I hope you trust me. I mean, I do try to find articles that I think are interesting, or at least paranormal. And if they're not paranormal, that they're interesting. So maybe sometimes we ring both bells, but at least one or the other. And then there's the times that I find these dissertation papers. And it's like, no, I can't read that. Those are the bad planning on my part. And they happen far too often. But anyway, that concludes the news. And I guess now we're at the point of the show. And it's a good thing that he's here. Chucky's here. Just came in the door just because, of course, I have to thank Chucky for all his work on this. It's really helped lift part of the bar for me and made things easier, at least more streamlined. It's certainly having help is a wonderful thing. And I know many of you have volunteered, in many ways to help out. I know I've got some stuff from Unknown. He's been trying to send me some things, and I apologize. I'm just too scattered right now. I'm going too many different directions. So anyway, what do we got? Shouldn't see as long as sorry. I'm just seeing some notification in the Discord here, so I was looking. But we're going to head to the next segment, which is the Discord question of the week, folks. And this is a good one. This is a section that I love because it gives you guys a chance to weigh in on some of this weirdness. And again, once again, special thanks to Chucky. He's putting the questions on the board and making us all think. So this is the Discord question of the week. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Discord question of the week. This is our Discord community, and of course, I have pinned on the YouTube channel, I've pinned a link that if you are a Discord user, you can click this link and it'll bring you right to our server, which will look like this, should look exactly like this, actually. Now, you may or may not have to download an application. I think I did. This is the application, but I think there's a web-based one that can just work in your browser too. I like the application standalone myself, and I have it on my phone as well. So it's nice because you can certainly put it on your desktop or laptop or whatever, but you can also put it on your smartphone and take the Discord with you because, by God, you never know when you need to, get a fix on the paranormal. So the portal can go with you wherever you are. So if you want to join, we'd love to have you over there. The link is pinned at the top of the YouTube chat. So click that link and join us. We'd love to see you. I haven't seen many new people join in lately. That's okay. I mean, it's a great community either way, but certainly more voices bring more to the table. So just a little quick tour. This is all the discussion threads that we have in here, including apparel. There's a marketplace here, which has apparel, which is like, there's Chucky. There's Chucky Danger, in case you're wondering. There's the man himself sporting a damn nice looking shirt. That's a damn nice looking shirt. Paranormal Portal shirt. This is the classic logo design. That was the very first shirt that we ever offered. And then I redid it for the Teespring. And so when I do giveaways, this is the shirt you're winning. So I hope you like that design, because that's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. These ain't Macy's. So, but you'll look damn good in it, I'm sure. So that's what you're going to get. But this is the apparel. And we also are happy to have you guys post your creations in here. Things you make that you want to offer for our Discord community. If you have an Etsy shop or just like to craft and want to offer things, we got people doing AI art in here. We've got all kinds of things. There's so much that you can check out. And again, if you have things you want to add to that list, by all means, and just let me know if we need more headings here. So far, we got apparel, crystals, jewelry, and then miscellaneous. Miscellaneous is probably too broad, but we'll get there. It's a newer thread in here, or at least newer in that it's not often used. But the part we're looking for here is, I should probably show you guys this. This is the Minion was helping me draw the winner. I should have probably showed this last night. This is for the Discord t-shirt giveaway. Remember, if you're a member of the channel, tune in on Wednesday, because we're going to take a look at all the members here, add your name to a pool. Unless you already won a shirt, then please don't enter again. But add your name to a pool and give away a t-shirt to one of our channel members here on YouTube. So if you want to enter for that, you can. That's certainly wonderful. But this is the video of the Minion and I giving away the t-shirt. Hey, everybody, it is time right here, right now, to decide or choose who is going to win the Discord t-shirt giveaway for the month of November. And I figured this is such a big job. I need help. I can't handle this alone. So I brought the Minion here. You ready to do this, Minion?
Yeah.
Who do you hope wins the t-shirt? Any favorites?
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, good choice. Good choice. It's not good to pick favorites, but you are all our favorites, of course. But we're kind of excited to do this, and special thanks to Sasquatch Chronicles, whose hat is going to provide the basket from which the choice is made. So, all right, I am shuffling all of the names that entered in the Discord channel, and make sure it's all randomized and stuff. And as a double blind, I am going to have Minion pick a name and read it. So best luck to you all. And thank you, everybody who wanted to participate, for participating. And thank you all for being members of the channel on Discord. That's just amazing. So you think they're good and randomized? You think they're good and mixed? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go in there and just swish your hand around a little bit, too? Okay.
Look at how Don's big headphones look on his head.
There you go. Yep. Okay. Now stop. No. I didn't say pick. Okay. Just stop. And then we're going to close it like this and shake it a little more. Okay. All right. So it's in view, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Minion, would you be so kind as to select our t-shirt giveaway winner for November?
Yeah.
Okay. Grab a name from in there. Just one. Can't afford two. You got just one name? Mm-hmm. And can you read it into the microphone?
Eric Purple Hobbit.
Eric Purple Hobbit, congratulations. You are the t-shirt winner. Excellent. Wonderful. We're very happy, very proud. And just so you guys can see, Eric Purple Hobbit. I don't know if that's visible. That is the name. Well done, guys. And come back next month. Come back more than next month, but we'll definitely do it again next month. So, all right. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Minion, for helping me.
You're welcome.
Okay. There it is. So, anyway, just thought that was kind of fun. Kind of a neat way to announce it. And the Minion asked, can I help? I was like, yeah, sure. So, it was a good bonding moment as well. All right. So, we're here for the question of the week. Let me see, where the hell is it? Where is the question of the week? Is this the one for the week? This is 11:05. Is that right, Chucky? Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. I think it is. Chucky's he posts these way ahead of the game. He's just on the ball, as it were. Yeah, there we go. So the question of the week this week, and thank you, Chucky, again. There are many different psychic abilities that people describe having themselves. Since 2020, there have been many people describing a spiritual awakening into these gifts. If you could choose an ability or hone an existing one.
Raphael.
The Ghost Radar says Raphael. I don't know what that means, but okay. Raphael. If you could choose an ability or hone an existing one, which one would that be? Well, let's see what people said. And so far coming in, the first response, ZX81V2, remote viewing. Man, I'd love to learn how to do this. Just the ability to use the mind to travel beyond your natural scope. A mind forever voyaging, looking for things or looking at things we were never supposed to see. Yeah, I don't know. You know, the thing with remote viewing that I think is, well, it's kind of powerful, but it sometimes seems kind of more abstract. Whatever the visions come to these people, generally speaking, they seem to be very fragmented. And I wonder if a person was really dedicated to it, if they could tune it so that it's like watching a video. You know, like you'll say, oh, I see a lot of these lines, vertical lines with some circles in it. And, you know, so they kind of describe things which then researchers are able to piece together or what have you, or, you know, it makes sense in the final picture, but not always to the viewer. You know, the remote viewing seems to, you get pieces and you get parts, but it doesn't seem like they get the whole robust picture. And so if I was going to choose remote viewing, it'd be like, yeah, but I want to be able to just like tune into it, like boom, you know, like I'm flying a drone there. But I think you're right. I think, you know, certainly remote viewing would be very powerful. Eric the Purple Hobbit comes in and says the ability to cloud the minds of all living things. Well, I think you gotta go work for the media. Thank you very much. You gotta go work on the news. Be a journalist. No, I'm just kidding. I just joking, but they certainly confused the hell out of me. So that's what I was saying. Yeah, I think to cloud the mind of all living things. That almost sounds dark though, doesn't it? It's like, wait a minute. I'm already dealing with enough clouds. All right, ZX81V2 comes in. He says, already done that, become a politician. There you go. Another career choice for those that want to cloud the minds of people. Become a politician. Marie comes in next. Definitely remote viewing. For myself, it would be simply to be able to visit places you can't otherwise. Everything from the closed years of the Grand Canyon, or closed areas rather. Sorry, I'm trying to lean back and read, but my eyes are failing me. Niagara Falls to the insides of the Great Pyramids, Pharaoh's tombs, but especially Antarctica. It's shrouded in so much secrecy and mystery, and I would love to see what's actually there. There have been some people who say there's a whole ecological system underground there that also includes dinosaurs. It would be fascinating to see. Yeah, I mean, if that's there, for sure. The whole hollow earth or inner earth thing. I don't know if what I think it is, Marie, and I might be wrong, but I think that they think there's an opening to the hollow earth, either there or in the North Pole, or both, one of the two. But anyway, yeah, I mean, geez, imagine what you could see if you could look beyond everything. ZX81 comes in again. Also handy to see if the shop's open and it's raining. Cryptid Chaos Astral Projection seems pretty cool to not only be able to experience. Seems to be pretty cool. Hold on, I gotta do this quick. So where was I? Astral Projection. Where am I? Cryptid Chaos. Sorry, I just got distracted here. Seems to be pretty cool to not only be able to experience the physical world, but the world beyond it. Whatever it may be. Also to experience the different types of senses. Not using the senses that we use when we are in a physical body. And it reminds me of Avatar, the Last Airbender. Yeah, interesting. All right, Chasing Mound Builders. I just want to be able to burst into a flock of ravens. That would be so ominous. Is that too much to ask? The average raven weighs approximately 3 pounds, meaning given my weight,
My flock would consist of 75.6667 crows. Let's call it 76. Well, there is that. Yeah, you could have a baby one in there. Huh. Could you imagine? I don't know if that's a psychic ability, though. That's a different kind of thing. Within comes in and says to serve as a telepathic receptacle for high frequency, high vibrational energies to help others. Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I think that'd be fantastical. Sorry. Arc Blaster comes in. I'd want the ability to heal others of their illnesses or grievances, at least to give them some peace in these crazy times we live in. Amen. That'd be really cool. Ariana Abyss comes in and says, I'm with Arc Blaster. Too many people are suffering right now. And if I could help lower that number, that would make me happy. Yeah, I agree. That would be lovely. Could you imagine just being able to walk into a hospital and just do the whole, like being a messiah, just like you're healed. You can get up now. You can go. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't it be magical? Walk up to somebody that's been in a wheelchair their entire life and say, well, it's time for you to go. Get out of there. Stand up. And then they do. And they're like, whoa. I think that'd be beautiful. That would be really incredible. Yasai Nefas. Yasai. I'm sorry, Yasai, if I'm really brutalizing your name. It's an unusual name for me. And it seems like a beautiful name. Don't get me wrong, but I challenge. My tongue is very challenged. I don't know if this is a psychic per se. I think it's more energy and manipulation, but I seem to be able to drain electronics of energy. Only I can't control it. It only happens when I'm highly agitated. It might be useful to be able to control that. I did have a psychic tell me that I probably zap people if I learned how to control it. Wow. Yeah, that could be poverty. Hell, you could be a superhero. I mean, it's like, what's your power? I drain batteries. So don't piss me off or your phone's dead. I'm tongue in cheek, of course. I think here's what I think. I think that we probably can do that because here's why. We oftentimes, and in paranormal investigating, we deal with battery drain. I've experienced it many times. Just suddenly your battery's flatline. It's like, wait, that was new. Those are new. That shouldn't be happening. But something atmospherically, whether it's the intelligence that's doing it or something, maybe a portal is what's doing it. I don't know. I've often wondered, is it really the entity doing it, or is it just that you're in a portal area where there's, any number of dynamics going on energetically that may cause batteries to just flatline. But they if that's the case, that it's the entity or the intelligence doing it, then these are, in many cases, former people. And the only difference between them and us is we have a meat suit. They don't. So we do have these abilities. I think that'd be pretty powerful. I think that would be kind of cool. To be able to influence electronics, I think would be pretty fantastic. But maybe a nuisance at times if you didn't know how to control it. Yeah, for sure. This is Ash Hermit weighed in and said, note taken, don't make Yasai angry. Yasai? Maybe it's Yasai. I just wish I knew how to pronounce that for sure, but I'm doing my best. Yeah, don't be angry with us. ZX81V2 comes in again. Technically, it sounds to me like your body's charge swaps polarities. Humans are negatively charged. Air around us is positively charged. If you're absorbing negative charge, this would account for the drain. And a highly agitated mind, you never know what it might happen. We know very little of the mind and what it can actually do, worth trying to do a controlled experiment. You test the voltage of a battery, write it down. You do something that gets you in the state of in a controlled way. You hold the battery by its sides. After calm down, test the voltage again. A cheap multimeter will give you results. A battery, as long as you don't connect both, and you don't create a circuit, its charge is stable. If you're leaching power, it won't need to. Sometimes simple experiments can give you surprising results, enough to get curiosity. Interesting. Paradox fossils. Fried Felicia. All right. I never thought to test it like that. That's an interesting idea. Yeah, see? That's the beauty of the Discord. You guys just share these ideas and thoughts, and man, brings a whole new game at the work. Worth a shot. Okay, Karen Alberting comes in and says, I think I would want the ability to find missing people. Yeah, that'd be lovely. I watch all those crime shows and seeing the heartbreak of families who never have closure of knowing what happened to their family members, especially a child. It's heartbreaking. So to be able to give them that closure, I think that would be, though sad, it's better than not knowing. I would like to do other things too, but one is probably all I can handle. Yeah. And ZX81 says that's a curse. Ask a real psychic who have these experiences how much it can totally mess with their mind. Lots who have the gift use it rarely or not at all. Be careful what you ask for. You may ask for water and end up with an ocean. Yeah, there's that. Rachel comes in. If I could choose one psychic ability, it'd be psychometry. The ability to gain the knowledge of the history of any object I touch. I love history, and I to see the actual events that happen around an object would be fascinating. History being read or spoken about is useful, but a first-hand account would be wonderful. It's almost like seeing the ghosts of the past events. Also, for writing, being an author of accurate historical events would make a great fiction writing. Yeah. And I agree. I think that'd be fascinating to be able to just touch something and know the background of it. Barbara comes in, more of this, more of that. If I could, I would send lost spirits to rest. Not sure why I chose that, but it seems to be helpful. Yeah, I think you can already do that. I think that it's often accompanied, it's often contains very ritualistic elements, but in any regard, depending on the modalities you use, would change how you did it. But a lot of times it's done with candles and prayer, saying affirmations. But I think prayer is the big part there, because you're calling the divine awareness to you and you to it, and can possibly help cross over a spirit. So I think you can probably already do that, Barbara. You just, spend some time talking to some psychics that maybe already do it, see what they do, and see if anything resonates with you, and perhaps you can already do it. I think it's a very, I think, religious thing to send them home. It's a very beautiful, poetic thing. It breaks my heart to think that there are spirits that just stuck somewhere, just stuck. And some of them is probably by choice. Again, think of it through the eyes of the person that's just passed. I know I've made plenty of mistakes in my life, but I really do try to live my life as positively and in a good way, to create positivity in the world around me, and to create a positive place, space around me. I really do that, and I know all of you do as well, or most of you anyway. But there's some people that are not nice. They're not decent people, and they probably know deep down they're not very decent people. Doesn't change much during their life, but suddenly, boom, they're not alive anymore. And I guess depending on what they observe religiously, that can be a terrifying place to be, because what's left? Well, you can't really atone anymore for all the crap you did, so you're facing what might be a judgment. And if you know you're not a good person, or you weren't a great person, if you know you had plenty of issues and you're facing an eternity, then it's probably better to be in a closet. I think that's why we have, in some cases, earthbound spirits. And I'm not saying the majority cases, but I'm sure that that's at least some of them, that these spirits are fearing facing that final judgment. It's like, well, I don't really like sitting in this closet, but it sure beats the hell out of a lake of fire. Let's see, Gehenna or the closet? Gehenna, the closet. Yeah, I'll take the closet. I think that's it's an easy bet that's at least some of what's going on. But all you could do is, maybe pray for those spirits and hope that they could find their absolution. Probably mostly just need to forgive themselves and make that transition. But I think whenever you call on the divine and how you call on the divine answers. I do think that. I just think that sometimes we expect the answer to come in a certain way, and it's oftentimes comes in its own way. You just got to open your eyes and your mind to see it. So if you ask for the angels to come, I'm sure they're there, and maybe we'll help guide them home. But anyway, I'm sorry to get on a tangent, but I just thought, wow, I think that's something we all can do is send spirits home. So, but great thoughts, guys. Thank you so much for participating. Everybody that participated, beautiful thoughts, some humorous thoughts. I like it all. I don't mind some humor in these things. Just so you know, I've certainly admonished some people for putting in ridiculous posts and stuff, but I don't mind a little bit of joyous banter. I just don't want the thread to become, let's make it all a punchline. I don't want this to become a joke, but it's okay to have fun with each other. So this was very well done. You guys handled yourselves great. I just don't want, there's some posts that were just like, how do we get, what is this? I can't even read it, and so I've chastised some, I've removed some comments from here that have been, more clearly tongue-in-cheek, or at least in my estimation. But I don't mind a little banter. So just to try to clarify that a little bit. So anyway, great input, guys. Thank you so much. And this has been the Discord question of the week. And with that in mind, let's play it. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the Discord question of the week. Nice job, Chucky. Thank you, brother. You did great. You did great. Great things are coming, including a drink. Said like a true reporter / host. What does that mean, Troy? Don't say, I'm not reporting anything. What does that even mean? What does that mean, Troy? Welcome to the show, Troy. That's a new name. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in and checking it out. I hope you enjoy yourself and have a good time. Comes in its own time. All right. I'm just looking at the chat, see if I missed anything. Did I miss anything? I think we're good. Okay. All right. We're going to move on now. Let me get to the other article up that we're going to get to now. All right. Did I read that one? Yeah, I read this one. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so we've been working our way through an article. This is from ranker.com. Did Troy say anything? Hey, audio, you're on the river. Cool. I hope you're being careful, man. How's the weather? I hope you're staying warm, man. I hope it's not too cold. Going to call in after the article. Well, you can call in whenever you'd like, man. Just give us an update. The phone lines are open. If any of you feel the need to call in, the number's right below my head. 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500. Responding to your announcement to keep the show clean and serious. Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. Got to keep it clean. Not always serious. I'm not always serious. I mean, I am serious about the phenomena, about what we talk about on the show, but I like to have a good time. I like to laugh as much as anyone. In fact, I think we all need laughs now, especially. Jesus, heavy as everything's gotten. It's like, yeah, we need to have a good time. So totally warm, got plenty of layers. I'm actually doing really well right now. Next to a campfire. Very cool. How are you charging your phone? Did you bring like a solar thing or what? I guess when you call in, I'll ask you. Barb says, Troy, have you met Don? Don's one of my co-hosts on Wednesday nights, Troy, and he's a card. He's a funny guy. I have to struggle to keep things in order when Don's here. Brent, I found there's an ape like mythical creature mentioned in Taiwan in regards to rock apes and Taiwan spoken by the ghost box. Huh. Interesting. Okay, that was last night, right? When it said Taiwan. That's right. Interesting. Good take there, Rachel. Yesterday, so I tell you what, it's yesterday. So I use this Ghost app, and it's this app. I'm going to put my mouse over it right here on the upper right of your screen. It's a Ghost Radar app, and I've got it up there just passively keeping an eye on things because I've had some weird things happen in the show through the years. Nothing regular, but this is utilizes a Ghost Radar and a word generator here. Now tonight it said Raphael, which just seems like a random thing. But last night on the show, I started out the show talking about how I had a filling popped out of my tooth and it was a fresh batch of hell for me, and how I got to the dentist. They fixed it. Everything was fine. About 20 minutes later, this ghost detector says dentist. That really blew me away because that was a very relevant response. It was very relevant to what had been discussed, even though the time was a little bit removed. It still strikes me as absolutely bizarre that happened. Later, it spit out the word Taiwan while we were talking about a story about rock apes. Rock apes are like the Vietnam version of Bigfoot. And many GIs, NVC in the Korean conflict or war, talked about having encounters with them. And we read a bunch of those encounters from phantomsandmonsters.com last night. And I just thought Taiwan was just one of the, again, going random. It's like, oh, it's going random. Doesn't really mean anything, didn't really tie in. Although it's in the region, it seemed a little weird. So it's interesting that Rachel looked into that and was able to tie Taiwan in with the rock ape phenomena as well. And that is interesting. That is very interesting, and maybe makes it very relevant as a response that popped up. So last night, the Ghost Radar and word generator was pretty balls on, I'm telling you. It was very, very impressive. Because a lot of times it'll be like I'll be talking about, let's just say I'm talking about Dogman. And it'll spit out something like pickle or zipper or something stupid. It's like, what the hell does that mean? That doesn't tie into anything. So I hadn't had a lot of faith in the actual word generator because it just doesn't seem very, very accurate. So this is now charged. So I guess I could set this part up. Let me unplug the cord from down here because we might as well have that on the screen. And if something worthwhile happens, this is a yes/no detector. It's based on two proximity detectors, one on this side, one on this side, and it lights up either red or green. Or actually it's red on this side and green on this side. That's the way I'll set it up. I'm going to have the dial facing towards the wall, just because, just to try it out. Now it's gone off a couple times, but in a weird way. Usually it goes and it gets higher pitched as whatever it is comes closer to the prism, and then gets lower paced dots as it moves away. But the last couple times that I've used it on the show, it would light up on the red and go like a buzz. I was like, what the hell is that? That's weird. But after the last show that I used this, I went to pick it up and put my finger down here to grab it. Well, I guess I should hold it up higher. And since my hand was lower, it did light up red and went, so that might have indicated something being very low to the table or to the platform that it's on. And that's what triggered. So let me just set this up a sec. We'll leave it on screen. If something happens, something happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Again, I just think things come and go. I don't think that's always a haunting, so to speak. I just think that when you talk about this stuff, perhaps it creates a magnetism for it. That's things come in and check and say, what's going on here? We can tell you're talking about us. So maybe it's an old concept in the occult called magnetism. All right. Now that should be on screen. There we go. So it's just calibrating right now. Okay. So now it's calibrated. It'll be this light blue light going up and down like this. And if it triggers, one side or the other to light up, and that should indicate something is either on the far side of that cube to me or the close side. Now, the side that's furthest away from me on your screen is actually the closest side to me, as you may or may not know. So it's actually reversed. When I'm pointing this way, I'm actually pointing away from where I just set that up. So it's actually opposite. It's actually this way. So just so you understand. Now it's a tool used in investigating for like yes, no responses. Like, is there anyone here? Oh, you get the green. Yes. Okay. Are you male or female? Red for female, red for male, green for female. And sometimes you can get a dialogue going with spirits. And I haven't had it for a long time, but I've experienced some pretty cool stuff in investigation at both St. Ignatius. It triggered a little bit. And then also at a haunted bed and breakfast or Airbnb. It was very cool. Very active at the Airbnb, actually. So anyway, we'll just leave that up and let it run and see if anything triggers it. As you can see, I'm waving my arm over here, so I'm not setting it off. And again, this is the side that's closest to it. So I got the proximity set very close to the actual device. So we'll just keep an eye on it and see what happens. So, all right. I got to keep an eye on the phones too, don't I? Sorry about that. So if audio calls in, and if audio, if you're going to call in, announce it in chat so that people can, send me the message with the at Paranormal Portal so I can get the notification and pay attention to it because I'm focused here. My phone stuff is over here. So, all right, we're going to go to this article from ranker.com, and this is pretty cool. This has been little quips from Reddit, and it's ranker.com. These are creepy stories of encounters with humanoids. Now, they could be spiritual, they could be cryptid. Yesterday we had a bunch of the white crawlers or the crawler cryptids, which are kind of like the rake. Now it's on my side. Well, hello. Someone here with me? Okay. Gives me chills. Ooh. Gives me chills. All right. So that's on my side. Now it resets every 20 seconds. So after it triggers, it'll be green like that for 20 seconds and then it'll reset to the flashing blue on and off kind of thing. So we'll keep an eye on it. There it goes. Now it's reset. So there you go. It triggered right away. Love you too, Trace. Good to see ya. All right. So this is the ranker.com article. I'm going to go to this one so we can keep it on screen. There's the detector down below my face, and then the article here. So this article is written by Amanda Sedaic. How do you say that? Sedlak Heavener? Sedlak Heavener. Amanda Sedlak Heavener. And I think it was last updated in 2020 or something like that. So it's an older article, but these stories are really evergreen. They don't get old. They don't get stale. A ghost story from 100 years ago is just as compelling as one from yesterday or, whatever. Hey, I'm calling in a couple. Okay. We'll call in right now before I start reading. I'll read this one first. The Alien in the Room. And this is by Redditor Broke Art Grad. Oh man, that's a great name. Yeah, good Lord. Being a student is a tough thing. So it doesn't have to be an art grad for broke. It could be any of them. I was around 4 or 5 and in my bed struggling to fall asleep. My parents were in the living room, in the hall, up the hall, and I had my bedroom door open with the hall light on to act as a sort of nightlight. I remember tossing and turning and getting bored because I just wasn't tired. I sit up there in the middle of my room and is a silhouette of an alien. Thin body, huge head, small too because it was eye level to me sitting in my bed. I couldn't see any features because of the light from the door behind this figure, but we stared at each other for what felt like ages. Very slowly, this thing moved close to me, lifting its arm. I can't remember which, and reached out as if to touch me. I remember blinking hard to see if I was dreaming, and when I opened my eyes, it was gone. Nothing there. Well, I stayed sitting up in my bed listening for anything because I'm scared this thing is waiting for me in the hall. I had no fear at all when this whole experience was happening, but now I was terrified and sprinted up the hall to my parents asking them who was in my room. I'm 23 now, so don't remember much past that. We moved house a while later. I got seriously ill, funnily enough. The place we moved to had serious poltergeist problems, and I should submit some of those stories too, but I'll never forget that figure in the middle of my room. Yeah, that's creepy. Wow. You got to wonder, sometimes there's a real gray area between spiritual activity and potentially extraterrestrial / UFO / interdimensional entities versus spiritual entities. It's hard to know which is which. Sometimes in a lot of UFO visitation cases, things happen very much like a poltergeist, with things moving, doors, electronics malfunctioning, any number of things gets really weird. Sometimes it's figures blending in, walking through walls. It's just very hard to ascertain which is which. So it makes me wonder if this person had that alien in the room, was able to observe it, and it just kind of stuck around and followed them to the next place that they lived and kind of bugged them. So I don't know. Again, I don't pretend to know why aliens are here, what they're doing, what are they after, what's the whole story going on here. I don't know. I've heard the theories, I've heard the ideas, and any of them could be right or any of them could be wrong. I just don't know which it is. It's just very, very curious. Yeah. So wonder if it's the same thing that just followed him. I don't think that's hard for, these extraterrestrial beings or wherever they're from, given that they're so advanced to us. It's not like you're just going to move to a different town and they're going to lose you. It's like, where'd they go? I think they know. I think in a lot of cases, you're probably tagged somehow anyway if you've been abducted. Like they know how to track you no matter where you are on the face of the earth. So just some thoughts. But next up, since there's no call, let's go to the next one. Illuminated humanoid in the middle of the river. And this is from I moo to you, my friend. I moo to you, my friend. I love these Reddit names. God, these people are creative. When I was a very young kid, my grandparents would take me to see family in a town in West Virginia about 45-minute drive away. One night, I was probably 6. We'd stayed late and were coming back in the dark. Right after exiting the town, we drove by a river for a small while. And I remember looking over the river, as I always did, and I saw this strange figure standing right in the middle. It was fairly human-shaped, but it was glowing bright white as if illuminated. My grandmother was very religious, so in my mind, I ruled it as an angel without wings. Well, as I got older, I began to question it more and more and couldn't come up with any explanation. At first, I wondered if it had been a reflection, but there are no lights near the river, and I couldn't have been a light from a flashlight due to the size. This wasn't my last explainable experience, or unexplainable, whatever that means. Whichever they mean, because it's not explainable. It's an unexplainable, right? But the next 2 had nothing to do with humanoids. Interestingly enough, a lot of times people see these illuminated beings that look human, and they think that they're angelic, and maybe they are. Maybe angels pick those forms, but in the biblical sense, if you look up a lot of encounters with angels, not a lot, but there's a few of them, where whatever the hell they're seeing is nothing like an angel that we would consider traditionally. Now, there are other angelic stories, like I think the story of Lot was visited by 2 angels, before the decimation of Sodom and Gomorrah. But, and they were definitely people, so I guess they can be humanoid if they want to, but They can also be like balls of eyes and weird stuff, and it's very unusual. So, at any rate, yeah, some of the traditional definitions of angels are almost horrifying. I mean, they're just, no offense to any angels listening, it's just, balls of eyes are not a good look for most of us. All right. Here we go. A personal demonic encounter. Oh, this is the last one. So this one is from, what the hell is this? JLL Fushirina. I don't even know if that's right, but that's what I'm going with. Oh, there's the call. Let's go to the call first, and we'll come back to this. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to go to this camera just because we'll keep that on the screen, and we'll get to the call and find out what's going on. Area code 309, you're on the air. Is this you, audio?
Yeah, it's me. What's up, brother?
Hey, nothing much. How's it going, man?
Well, I was just listening to you in this little river crap that you had to read and freak me out a little bit. No, I'm on this, I just charged my batteries in this little town called St. January, I'm butchering it. Anyways, it's Southern Illinois. I'm getting ready to enter the Shawnee National Forest, where I'm a little, just trying to get a good meal in. I bought these little salmon patty things and stuff.
Sure.
And I'm on this little berry. It's like an island right in the middle.
Okay.
I think it has a name, but basically what I do is I charge my phones. I don't use any of my technology unless I absolutely have to. I save it for the GoPros and stuff like that.
Okay.
Basically, there's no reason for me to be texting a bunch of stuff. I'm just navigating the river close to the shoreline, especially when I got a lot of barges. But anyways, as soon as I'm walking downwind a little bit because it's kind of windy at the front point of that island. And I bought this little camp stove thing. And it's small, but you can get some good coals going in it, and it's portable with it's very light with like just sticks and whatever that's laying around. So
cool.
I stocked up on a little bit of food for the next 3 days. So it's going to be Shawnee National Forest. Ain't going to be much going on there at all. So I'm kind of stocked up now and ready to go. And kind of freaked out on this little island though, dude. I don't know how deer can get out here, but it sure sounded like there was a deer kind of going by.
Oh yeah, deer are crazy good swimmers. I lived on a beach.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Deer will swim like crazy. Don't let them bother you. They'll be swimming through, I'm sure, constantly.
Well, there was definitely something running around. It definitely had 4 legs, and it sounded like it was moving. I was thinking deer immediately.
Sure.
But God, yeah, it's beautiful out here. So yeah, no, as far as keeping warm, it'll get warmer the farther south they go. It's about 45 degrees right now. It's beautiful.
Okay.
And I got this cool Columbia jumpsuit that really is just totally waterproof. So
good.
It holds in the heat as well. And yeah, I got a different series of layers that I use. And I've been fishing, been catching catfish and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Been taking a lot of video. So I just save the power for the video, and
that's cool.
Yeah, right now I wanted to but I knew you were having a show. I wanted to call and let you guys know I'm actually doing it, and I'm going to have I'm going to be sending you guys some pictures and stuff like that. But
sure.
You know what? I'll be honest with you, man. Doing this stuff by yourself, I've always been the type that's just afraid of the dark.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is kind of testing me, man, a little bit.
Yeah,
it's dark.
I gotta admit, man, my hat's really off to you because I think it's always wonderful to test your boundaries and to test your mettle. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a good experience for you for a lot of reasons, but I don't know if I would have the courage to do it, but I applaud yours. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, I think it's great.
It does. Well, I just been kind of a screw up my whole life and always afraid to do a lot of things. So yeah, it is kind of a big deal to me actually, since you mentioned it.
Oh, good.
And I needed the break too. So it is neat, it doesn't cost me a lot of money. I just have to be careful, check my coordinates every once in a while. I know exactly where I'm going. What I do is I got charts too. Not that I even need them, but I paid $30 for 2 different charts. And, basically it's showing me where if there is a levees or anything like that, water change, high traffic areas, things like this.
Okay.
And so far, out of Peoria, I really haven't had much going on there, but I'm being very careful.
Sure.
And right now, it's just been scenic and nice. And but I got to say, man, this is kind of an adventure for me, man. I'm on this little island right here. I looked at it on Google Earth, and it's right. If you just look right above the Shawnee National Forest on the Mississippi River, I'm out of the Illinois River now. I joined with that about 30 hours ago.
Wow.
Out of St. Louis.
You're making some tracks.
And
then.
yeah, I came from. Yeah. I've been out 3 days. Well, four now.
Wow.
But gosh, this is so cool, man, to be talking to somebody. It's actually helping my courage a little bit because I'm standing in the middle of like my little stoves over there.
Sure.
And I wanted to walk away because there was a gust of wind going on, and a lot of these leaves have fallen here. But yeah, it'll just get warmer.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be calling you guys. What days do you shoot? You do Friday, Saturday, and Wednesday, right?
Yes. Yep. Those are the live shows. Yep.
All right, cool. And I'll be doing that. I'll eventually, when I have a laptop that's workable, I'll be doing the Discord and all that stuff. But
Okay.
I just want to tell everybody in the chat and everybody just thanks for making me feel welcome and being kind to me. And it's really nice to check in with you guys and have somebody interested in what you're doing. That's neat. And
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'm doing good. And I caught some catfish yesterday, and flathead catfish. I stopped on this beautiful shore. It was just a nice pebble beach area, and I found a couple arrowheads too. But anyways, I caught a couple flathead catfish.
Nice.
Skinned them. I nailed them to a tree. I skinned them. I learned how to do that in Florida a long time ago. And I had me a nice catfish, little catfish dinner. I breaded it with some pango. It was good, man.
Oh, good for you, man. That's great. That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep us
But
posted,
you remember
man.
that joke I made with What's that?
What's the joke you made?
No, I said, remember when I made that stupid joke when Longbeard was on, and I was like, yeah, what if I'm on a sandbar cooking catfish, and the Sasquatch walks up? I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I'm a dummy, man, for even mentioning that crap.
Oh. Well, I don't think they prefer their food cooked, probably, so you're probably okay.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. But I'll tell you what, I feel like there's going to be eyes on me. There's in a couple areas I feel like there's eyes on me too, man. Anyways.
Trust that, though. I mean,
you know what?
I think we are
Yeah.
I think we're genetically tuned for that stuff. So when you feel those eyes, just, I think if they
You're
truly,
right.
if they are truly telepathic, and many people think they are, then just send out, hey, I'm just coming in peace and I'm just passing through. Please, know
Okay.
that I respect your territory, and I won't be here for long.
Okay.
Send out a message
Yeah, that's
or
a
whatever.
good. And I always have a good demeanor about me. Sorry to interrupt. I always have a good demeanor about me, anyways. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do because, man, there's a couple of lonely areas, man, where there's no city lights and some of the towns I come across are just a little blip.
Right.
And I'll think, man, should I stop and refuel, get a ham sandwich? Or should I stop? I'm like, no, just keep going. And it gets dark. It gets dark, man.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Yeah. Well,
But anyways,
if anybody
yeah.
says, hey, you got a purty mouth, just keep paddling.
Or playing a banjo, all good and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. Just paddle hard. Just keep going.
Yeah, I shall. Hey, you know what? Listen to this. I also have outfitted a small bass motor, so a little
cool.
Motorola motor. So I, just a trolling motor. So
Okay.
I don't have to, paddle the whole time. So it's pretty cool, man. That's
Awesome,
where
man.
I have a whole battery hooked up to that thing. So, but it's great.
Well, fantastic, brother.
Great.
Well, keep us posted. Yeah, just send out peaceful messages as you feel that weight of the eyes, and tell them. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's very powerful, though. I really do. I think that perhaps.
No, you're right. I really do too. I do too. And I think, listen, I think that being out here like this is really because, we're in society, we're surrounded by all this technology and all this electromagnetic frequency, we're swimming in it.
Yeah.
And just to get out here, and just because there's things out here, and like I believe reality is totally the reason I'm even wanting to capture something or experience something. You know what? I figured I had this feeling that, and I'll get off of here in a second, but I had this feeling that there's going to be certain areas where I need to shut my technology completely off if I want to experience something.
Mm-hmm.
And I may have to do that, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm a little nervous right now. That's why I'm just like talking fast. There's a lot of leaves right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so I'm gonna head back to my little thing, put some more sticks on it, and I bought this little twice baked potato out of the last thing, and it's so cold, it's cold enough, that thing. And then I bought some foil I can put them on and just heat them bad boys up, have me a little warm meal.
Good. All right, brother. Well, be safe and keep us posted, okay?
All right, take care, you guys. I love y'all, man. Take care.
We love you too, man. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon. All right, very cool. Wow. He's making the voyage on the kayak. He's making some miles, man. That's pretty crazy. He's moving a lot faster than I thought he would. I don't really have a good idea of the distance that he's traveled or is traveling. I mean, I do of the entire journey, but yeah, I'm not sure how far it was from the Illinois River to hit the Mississippi, but he's already joined up with that and is on his way down. So that's really powerful. Good man. My hat's off to him, man. That's a brave as hell thing to do. And I think, he kind of made mention that, his life has been a challenge and he's feels like he's been a mess up. So, I mean, maybe this is his coming of age story. I mean, this is his book, and this is the part where he figures that he needs to make a change. And it's really cool to be a part of that. My hat's truly off to him, because it's tough to confront yourself. It's tough to make change and to challenge yourself, and he's doing it. So, yeah, fantastic. Keep us posted, audio, man. We're all rooting for you. And let's find us a Bigfoot. Take some pictures. At a distance. Yeah. All right. So, very cool. Sorry, that rumbling you're hearing is from my phone. Sorry. My cousin Paul's listening in, so he's listening in via my phone. So, from the great state of Tennessee. All right. Where was I? A personal demonic encounter, and then we're going to go, well, because that'll close out this article. Then we can go to the cryptid corner, because I think, gosh, it's already really into there. All right, so this is from JLL Futurina. It says, when I was about 12 years old, I was laying in bed on Christmas Eve. My bed was exactly opposite my large bedroom window, which gave me a view of the top of our property fence and a very large tree just beyond it. It was one of those weird nights where it seems to never get truly dark. The sky kept a red hue about it all night. It was past the age of major Christmas excitement, so fell asleep pretty normally. I woke up suddenly to fully alert. I was laying on my back when I opened my eyes, and they met another set of eyes. Let me do this. I opened my eyes and met another set of eyes. Outside, sitting in the tree beyond the fence, was only what I could describe as a demon. It's fully fixed on me and not moving. The eyes reminded me of a cat's huge and elongated pupils, yellow and very iridescent. The body was not large, pretty lean, and dark, scaly skin. It was sitting with its legs pulled up to its chest, kind of crouched. Yeah, I'm thinking of like one of those gargoyle poses, where you see on like a Notre Dame or whatever. Yeah. This visual has stayed with me so vividly for my entire life. Over 20 years have passed and I can still see it like it was right in front of me. I felt scared and threatened inside of myself. We maintained eye contact for what felt like a very long time, and I don't remember breaking eye contact, saying anything, or seeing it move, and it seemed to I just fell back to sleep at some point, but kind of doubt that's how it really went. I wonder if I was hypnotized sometimes. I woke up the next day and remembered it immediately. I just knew that it wasn't a dream. It was far too real. I didn't say anything to my parents at this point, as it was now Christmas Day, but I was sullen and it affected me greatly. Fast forward to the next Christmas Eve, and every Christmas Eve that followed up until the age of about 18, I fainted every single Christmas Eve for at least 5 years. Fainting was not something I typically did. It was scary in itself and always the same experience. I would feel the aura and begin to try to run away from it. Insensible. Okay. Faint and hear symphony music and experience a coma state where I could hear the people around me trying to help but couldn't react. Sorry. Eventually, I couldn't keep this secret anymore. I was smart enough to make the connection that I saw this demon and since have fainted daily on the anniversary of it. I told my parents what I had seen years ago, expecting them to say I was silly or crazy, dreaming, and instead they met me stony-faced, and I got to hear their stories. I'll add those here as well. If my situation draws attention, I'd like to know what anyone else thinks. Aside from my spouse, I've never talked about this before. And we don't have that. So I don't know what the parents' experiences were, but maybe they had an experience as well that tied in with this. Very strange, though. What a horrible experience to see that and then to be affected by it on the actual anniversary of that for 5 years. And was the telling of the parents the thing that broke it, that he finally talked about it? Was that somehow a cathartic thing that's healed him, I guess, for lack of a better term? But yeah, very weird. Very, very weird. All right, so we don't have any Sasquatch Chronicles to talk about tonight because no news stories were posted by listeners today. There's other things posted on the blog, which is wonderful, but not things that I love reading those listener emails that Wes gets. Those are really powerful. But there is more that we can read. Is this the first one? Yes, it is. Okay. So this fits right into the cryptid corner just nicely. We're going to be visiting Sasquatch. We're going to be visiting phantomsandmonsters.com, ladies and gentlemen, for the remainder of the show, as we pour through several cryptid stories that Lon posted on the Paranormal Portal fans page. And Lon has been a great friend, and he's been on the show a few times himself. It's a great conversation. And if you're not familiar with phantomsandmonsters.com, you should get familiar with phantomsandmonsters.com, because if you like these stories, if you like to dive into, encounters people have had with this weirdness that we talk about all the time and that I assume many of you are into, then you should be visiting phantomsandmonsters.com, because there are literally 1,000 or better encounter stories that are posted over there, along with Lon's published works and the information about his research efforts with his affiliates around the nation into several different cryptid phenomena, including Dogman, Bigfoot, winged humanoids like the Mothman, that kind of stuff. And also links to his Phantoms and Monsters Radio podcast and YouTube channel. So check it out. And if you're on YouTube, which you are, because a lot of you are here, go over to Phantoms and Monsters Radio on YouTube and subscribe, because Lon goes through a lot of his own stories on his shows. And there's no better person to actually go through them, because not only can he relate the stories, but he can often provide a lot of background information that may not be apparent just in the story itself. So great stuff. But the first one we're going to read is from Friday, November 3rd. And this is Crimean man abducted by reptilian-like mermaid. Now, mermaids don't come up often. It's not a report that we get a lot. And I don't know if it's because the people seeing them are not willing to come forward. I mean, so take this as an example. Everybody and their brother knows about Bigfoot now. It's like a big hot topic. It's very common. People have heard stories of people seeing Bigfoot or watched television shows or YouTube channels where they deal with Bigfoot. And so it's not a faux pas to talk about Bigfoot. However, there's other cryptids that are not at that point of disclosure or discussion. And one of those is mermaids and mermen or whatever. We just don't talk about them much, because I think largely people are still in the same mindset. Like, well, there might be a Sasquatch out there, but there's no way there's mermaids. It's like, really? How do you know? How are you okay with there being an 8 to 10 or better foot ape-like person running through the wilds of our world, but you draw the line that there can't be anything in the ocean? There could be no cryptids in the ocean, really. So I'm not saying people should agree with it, but my point is that if you can accept that there's a Bigfoot and a Dogman, then how can you conclusively say there isn't these other things? Where's your point where you no, there's none of those, but I think there's Bigfoot out there. I think there's Dogman, but none of that other stuff. That's a little weird. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. But I think it's if you embody or you accept the fact that there could be one or two of them, then maybe there could be more. And so it's at least, I think, important to keep an open mind. But let's check out this story dealing with some kind of merman. And abducted by a reptilian-like merman. That does not sound like a good abduction experience because, being a mermaid or merman, you think of like a Little Mermaid or something, but this ain't it. This sounds more like Creature from the Black Lagoon kind of thing. Let's take a listen. It says, a Crimean resident is walking along the Black Sea shore near his home, and he's suddenly accosted and abducted by a reptilian-like merman and taken to an unknown location. One day in 1995, in mid-morning, a local resident of Sudak of the Crimea named Grigori walked to an... I'm sorry. I went full Red Dawn there or something. I don't know. I went full Red October, sorry. Grigori to the Crimean. Das Vidanya. Walked to an embankment on the Black Sea for a breath of sea air. With a goblet of beer with him, he stepped down onto the sand and watched the horizon. It was calm and beautiful day, and suddenly something sneaked up on him from behind and put a rubber mask on his head. Huh? Grigori struggled and grabbed the mask under his chin and pulled it off, thinking it was some kind of stupid prank. But in the next second, he found himself amid a huge hall. He could neither see the sea or beach or sky. There were huge screens on the walls and multitudes of various control panels with buttons and chairs in front of them. When he looked down, he saw that he was holding a rubber mask resembling that of a blue reptilian monster, skinned like a lizard, covered with warts. What? Like a Halloween mask, or what are we talking about here? Suddenly, a door opened in the wall and 3 monsters entered the room. These resembled very much the face on the mask he was holding. They were tall, about 2 meters in height, blue in color, all covered entirely by warts. They were nude and awful in appearance. One of them approached Grigori and put his hand on his shoulder. The alien had 3 huge curved claw fingers on his hand and said in a low, hoarse voice, Homo sapien.
1681.
That's not what he said. He didn't say 1681. That's not correct. He said Homo sapiens. Grigori could see a huge yellow fangs in his open mouth, and after that, seized by a terrific panic, Grigori began to scream. He jerked back, threw the mask on the floor, and ran away. He entered a corridor and passed numerous oval doors, different screens and instruments. Overwhelmed by fear, he ran into another room, and there he was, confronted by another blue reptilian humanoid. The humanoid opened his huge arms on the sides and said, Where are you running to? After that, he pressed something on the wall, and Grigori saw what he called an abyss, endless space everywhere. He could see stars and beautiful scenes in space. He was trembling with fear when one of the blue reptilians approached him, took his hand, and said, Do not be afraid. Sorry, I just got to go full on this. I got to go in. I got to read this like that because my head's just screwing with me. He then accompanied the witness to the next room, and in that room he saw hundreds of reptilian humanoids standing in the ranks. All were standing shoulder to shoulder, and all were looking at the witness. Suddenly they moved aside, and the witness saw a beautiful woman with light hair sleeping on a small sofa. Wait a minute. She was totally unclothed, and he saw her for several seconds, and after that the blue reptilians closed ranks again, and she disappeared from sight. The alien that accompanied Grigori to a screen, there were stars on the screen. The reptilian pointed with his claw at one of the stars and said, Earth. After that, he embraced the witness with his powerful 3-fingered hands and said, Stay with us. We have no time and death. Terrified, Grigori could only say that he wanted to go back home. that his mother was waiting for him and begged them to let him go. The alien then said, "Well then, is there anything you want to know?" I don't know what the hell I'm reading it like now. Grigori could only think of one thing at that point. "How long will my mother live?" The alien answered, "As much as your age now." What? As much as your age now. After that, the star on the screen began to approach very fast and began to resemble the globe of Earth. He could see the clouds. Suddenly, Grigori realized that he was standing near his house, but only in the opposite direction from where he had originally left. He had been gone for 5 hours. He noticed a peculiar detail. The coins in his pocket began to glow with a yellowish light when he took them out. This light disappeared in the morning. The source was Anton Anfilov, quoting B.V. Ustinov in The Secret Doctrine. And Lon has a note here as who was the woman he reportedly saw sleeping on the sofa? Was the woman another abductee used to lure Grigori to stay with them? Much of the information I have gathered on the reptilian species, including David Eckhart's accounts, tends to paint them as a very intolerant bunch that has little patience for humans. Also, they usually grab what they want and give little care as to what happens to those they abduct. There are merman stories and legends throughout the regions next to the Black Sea, including the Crimea. There are also accounts reported in the Caspian Sea. Could these mermen really exist? Yeah, that's a good question. Are these mermen actually from the stars? Wouldn't that be something, huh? I don't know. That's kind of wild. Now, there is a point, okay, so I've often thought, well, somebody said they wanted to take me to the stars. I'd be like, hell yeah, let's go. I want to see this stuff. I want to see it, and experience it. Do I want to stay? Well, if they look like a bunch of merman reptiles, probably not, because it's going to be pretty odd. You're going to be the odd person the whole time. It's not like you're ever going to go down to the bar and meet Gorlak for some swill or something. It's like, yeah, it's not, it can't be comfortable, if they look so different. Now, if it was a bunch of Nordics, like, yeah, okay. Maybe I'll stay. Maybe I'll stick around. I don't know. It's very crazy. Even if they had a naked woman, I'm just saying, I don't think that's enough. I'm sorry, I'm not really a pig. It's just, that's the elephant in the room, right? Was that the bait, like Lon suggested? Like, hey, check this out. And you get a new car. It's like, what are you doing? I don't know if she wants to be here either. That's strange. All right. Well, there's a story. I've never heard anything like that before. That's definitely a first. But what do you make of that? What do you think? Is it just creative writing? Maybe. I don't know. Other than the little bit of background Lon provided, there's really not much to go on other than this was excerpted from another work by another person, and who knows? I would love to know, well, then what? Did Grigori ever have any other encounters? Did he see things in the sky? Did they come and visit? Did, what happened? I don't know. It's very strange, but cool story. Yikes. Yeah, I want my ETs to look like Nordics, I think. Or, the Greys would be okay because they're just such a common idea of, the interstellar species that are out there. But I wouldn't want to see the mantis either, I don't think. And not that I'm saying, it's just that anytime something looks like a bug, I think of bugs as like they eat and they don't think about that much. They just eat because they want to eat. And they don't I don't think they make any rational or more moral choices in the regard. It's like, I'm hungry and there's something that I can eat. I'm going to eat that. And the bigger they are, you think the more that they'll want to eat and maybe me. And so, yeah, I don't know. Big bugs to me is really creepy. Not like I'm overly disturbed by bugs, generally speaking, but You don't know if you're getting the really intelligent ET bug, or are you just getting a really big bug that wants to eat you? And that's what it does. I don't know. If I saw a big bug, it'd be, hell no, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going to, make an ambassador leap for mankind on that one. Nope. I'm grabbing the can and just spraying and hoping for the best. All right, here's the next one. This is a Bigfoot-like creature reported roaming West Yorkshire in the UK. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the UK has Bigfoot as well. And it strikes some people as odd. Oh, there's still some pretty wild places over there. There's a lot of course, caves and tunnels, and there's still pretty incredible forested regions in the UK and Ireland and such, and Scotland. And so, granted, not like it once was, but, it's not like the whole place is all pavement and parking lots. So could there be? Well, there's the Grogach, God, I can't believe I'm stuck. I narrated the freaking video. The Grogach, the Gray Man, the Bigfoots, wow, it's just gone. That's the problem with age. Just words are just gone from my head that should be there. It's gone. I can't get it. I can't come back. I think it starts with a B, but I can't remember it. Anyway, there are reports of them over there, have been for hundreds or thousands of years. This says a West Yorkshire resident is walking their dog along a farm lane when they're familiar with when the dog suddenly begins to bark. Uh-oh, I'm getting sweaty. The witness then observes a massive, upright, hairy creature. I received the following account. It's taken me a long time to come forward with what happened to me that day, but I feel that I'm ready to finally tell all. It happened years ago in the month of October back in 1998. I and my family lived in the rural area of West Yorkshire in a village called Bramham. It's a countryside area with lots of farms, a quarry, and some rivers and streams. I like to walk my dog around the lanes and tracks as it was a way for me to wind down and just get some air. I'd finished work on that particular evening. I'm out walking with my dog down a large farm track, a route that we often take. It was early evening, so it was about 8 p.m., and it had gotten dark. I and the dog are just walking along. I let the dog off the lead so he could have a run as we were about a half mile up this single farm track by then. And there were no animals or people around. What does it say, Brent? I sent you a video on TikTok, possible Bigfoot sighting on a rocky cliff area. Cool, yeah, I'll check it out. Maybe we'll show that on Wednesday's show if it's possible to do that. But yeah, thank you. It says, I let the dog off the lead so he could run. There's no people or animals around, so I let him have a sniff around. As I walked the dog... Oh, hi, welcome. As I walked, the dog was just doing his own thing. It was quiet with no sign of anyone around. I was enjoying the walk, and there were hedges on both sides of the track the whole way, so it's hard to see clearly into the fields. And there are some woods to one side of me. As we walked even further along the track, the dog suddenly stopped. He froze and looked up the track in the direction we were walking. He must be aware of something up there as he starts growling and acting all strange. His hackles are up and he growls continuously. At that point, I thought it must be a fox, which is the way he'd acted before if we came across one. So I'm looking at the track to try and see a fox. I can't see anything anywhere. No fox, no cat, or any other animal. I can see how worked up he is, as now he is going mad and starts barking loudly. I'd carried on walking, so by this point, he was a short way behind me. So I turned to the dog to try and calm him, but he won't stop. If anything, he's getting worse. Something had really spooked him, so I turned to look up the track, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Standing there looking at us was this thing. A massive creature stood there looking back in our direction, and it must have walked between 8 to 9 foot steps out into the field track before I'd seen it. I walked between 8 to 9 foot steps out onto the track, out onto the field track before I'd seen it. And now I can see it clearly and it can see us. At this point, I was in complete shock at what I was seeing. I kept thinking, it can't be real. Honestly, don't think my brain could process what I was seeing. Because standing there on the field track was a huge creature of some kind. Woodwose. Woodwose was the word I was looking for. Sorry, I just lost it. It was just gone. It was massively built, and it was about 5 feet wide across the shoulders and about 8 feet tall. I couldn't make out any facial features as the face was in shadow, but I could make out that it was covered in hair. It was standing about 30 meters from me, so I could see it clearly, but I couldn't make out any features even from that distance. It made no sound, and I never smelled or heard anything. To my disbelief at that moment, the dog runs straight towards it. Oh, geez. The dog's barking as he runs in its direction, but the dog stopped about 15 meters away from this thing. He was clearly scared and just didn't know how to react. He had completely forgotten about me, and that's a first for my dog. Usually he would put my needs first, and maybe that was what he was doing, as he was by now in between me and this creature. But I couldn't tell. I could tell I was the last thing on his mind at this point. The dog barks a few more times, and he turns and runs straight past me and back up the farm track to safety, the way we came. No doubt, now you can imagine how stunned I was. The whole incident lasted only seconds, and I just stood there paralyzed, trying to process what I'd just seen. I must have been in shock because of what I did next. I did without conscious thought, and I can't explain why I did it, but as I stood there looking at this creature, I nodded my head quickly and said, "All right to it. I know that's crazy, but that's what I did." Then I just calmly turned around and started walking back down the field track after my dog, all the time listening for this creature coming behind me. I was completely pooping myself. I think I acted without thinking, as I never looked back up that track until I got the dog and couldn't see anything in the field anymore when I did. I didn't report this for years and years until other people came forward in secret and started to share their accounts online with each other. I had no idea what a Bigfoot was back then. Now, years on from seeing them online, I can say without a doubt, it looked like it was an exact match. I've spoken with this witness on numerous occasions, and I did get in touch this week to let him know another person's had come forward from the same area. Lon says, I'd received one other direct report, and I have seen other reported sightings in the same area over the years. Is there really a Bigfoot roaming West Yorkshire? Yeah, I think there very well could be. That is crazy. But I don't doubt it. Again, having worked with the Irish Bigfoot Research Organization and helping them on their documentaries, I've seen the evidence. There's definitely something there. There is definitely something up there. It's crazy. The other crazy part is how some people will spend their lifetimes looking. They will spend entire lifetimes looking, trying to find one of these things, both anywhere in the world. You know, it's not just something from the UK or Ireland or whatever. It's anywhere. There's people that will dedicate their entire lives looking for some kind of confirmation of these creatures, and then it'll be some guy walking his dog that has this incredible, pretty close sighting and experience. And then, or it's some grandma driving on the road in the evening or at dusk, and there's one just crossing the road. You know, I mean, it happens to these people that are just in no way prepared for it, but very rarely happens to the people that are actually looking for it. And I think that that's kind of profound. I wonder if it's, you know, maybe there is a telepathic element to these things. Like they know when we're looking for them, and that's when they don't want to be found. But maybe they don't give a second thought to somebody just on their doing their life, you know, like they're just doing their life. Be like, oh, guess what you're going to see? So it's crazy. I don't know. Makes you wonder. Is it consciously avoiding the people looking and then consciously making an effort to be seen by the people not looking? Do they want to spread awareness in a weird way like that? Because if there's somebody looking, they're already believing. So maybe it doesn't do any good to show themselves to those people. They know they're out there. Maybe they want people to know they're there. Maybe there's an end game to all this. Maybe they want to be a part of the world with us, but they're just making their reality known little by little. Probably not. That's probably not what's going on at all. But I don't know. I'm just thinking on my feed here. So we have just about 9 minutes left. Wow. Probably not enough time for another one as I'm looking here. Maybe this one we can. It has to do with dogmen. Let's read this one. I can get this one in. So this is another one from Phantoms and Monsters. Loggers' possible dogman encounter in Clatsop County, Oregon. This says a logger and his friend were clearing trees for a private landowner in northwest Oregon, and they decided to camp in the woods for the night. That was a decision they both regretted. I received the following account. Yikes. I'm a logger living in northwest Oregon. I've lived here my entire life. These woods are my home. My father and my grandfather were loggers, and I took over the family business after they retired. A private landowner liked how we conducted business, and we provided him light arborist work as well. And recently, he had some old trees that he wanted us to take down. It was an easy job. My buddy and I set to work and ended up cutting well into the night, so we decided to just make camp for the night and pick up first thing in the morning. That way, it would be out of our hair, and we could just keep it moving. I pitched a tent for us while my friend made the fire. We spent a few hours telling jokes and drinking until we decided to get some shut-eye. The tent ended up being a bit warm, so I decided to sleep out under the stars. It was a beautiful summer night, and the stars were always more visible out here in the woods, so eventually the sound of the wind and the swaying of the trees just lulled me to sleep. I woke up a few hours later. It was pitch dark. The stars weren't out anymore, and the wind was no longer blowing in the trees. Everything was very still. It felt like it happened in an instant, like I blinked and the stillness set in all at once. In the distance, I heard a strange noise, a loud, blood-curdling roar echoing through the forest. All my hair stood up on end as I reached out for my flashlight. When I clicked it on, it was super bright. I beamed directly into the deep woods where the roar happened again, and that's when the breeze picked up. I crawled over to the tent to kick it so my friend would wake up. I hear him rustling inside as he slowly unzipped the tent, and he's white as a sheet.
Sally.
Sally. Oh, okay. I don't think this thing's name was Sally, but anyway. I heard him rustling just white as a sheet. I know just from his face that he had also heard the roar. We both know what bears sound like, and we know how to handle them. We were scared, but also curious. Only a very large creature could make a noise like this. I reckoned it was much bigger than a bear. Then in the next moment, a tree fell about 100 or so yards from my camp. It was a big old tree. It slammed into another tree, and it fell that one too. My friends looked at me, dead in the eyes, and slowly he raised his flashlight in the direction of the fallen tree. He turned it on, and there it was. This creature was huge, much bigger than a bear. He was on all fours like a bear, and it had that similar giant head, but this creature had very sparse dark fur and lots of light-colored bear skin. I could see its muscles shifting, and whatever it was, it fell 2 trees like they were nothing. The creature roared once again, and it turned in our direction. It stared into the glare of our flashlight, and to our shock, started running at us. We glanced at each other and quickly climbed a nearby tree. Luckily, we got up there before the creature noticed we were where we went. We heard it tearing through the tent and the campsite for what seemed like hours. We stayed there until the sun rose and brightened the dark woods. We had no idea where the creature had gone. When we looked down our tent and our campsite, it was torn to shreds. It looked like a whole pack of bears descended on it, rather than just one large one. We slowly moved down the tree, watching around the area when we descended. We gathered whatever stuff we could salvage, then walked as quickly and quietly back to our truck as we could. I drove directly home. I don't know what it was, but it could have killed us and anyone else that got in its way. Looking back at the encounter, and after talking to my friend, we believe that it may have been what some people refer to as a dogman. The human-like way it appeared was not only shocking, but totally confusing. I just don't have any other explanation as to what this creature was. Lon says, after contacting the witness, he did tell me that the encounter occurred in Clatsop County in June 2023. I asked if he could provide more details on the descriptions of the beast. He was reluctant to do so, and I honestly believe he is still in shock over the incident, and probably did not pick up on more specific characteristics since it occurred so quickly, because of his business and the possible ridicule that he would receive if he were associated with the incident. He didn't offer further information. Wow, that's just terrifying. What the hell? This thing went in. I mean, come on. It shredded their camp. That's freaky. Wow. And it pushed over a tree. I mean, I don't care who you are. Even if it's an old tree. Pushing over a tree is no small thing. That's kind of terrifying. But what do we know? Not much, actually. But I do know we got about a minute left. We've managed to burn through the night. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourselves. I always love bringing you guys these shows. Hopefully you relaxed, you had a good time, you heard some pretty cool stories, and food for thoughts. I love the Highland cows. Okay. All right, I'm reading the chat, and as usual, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right, well, that's going to about wrap it up for me. Again, thank you so much for joining me here on the Paranormal Portal. It's an awesome experience to do these shows, and it's even more awesome that so many of you guys join me. So thank you so much. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening, whatever you're doing. And just remember that I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. And thank you all for being here and joining me. As always, please join the Discord. If you like the show, if you're new, please subscribe and hit the like before you leave, if you would, please. That helps out a ton because, it's all a numbers game. And, got to love the numbers. So anyway, that's all I got for you. Love you, Brent. Take care. Thank you, Audio. Love you too, brother. Be careful. We'll be talking at you guys in the coming days. So until then, I'm going to roll the credits. See you guys Wednesday. Good night.